everyone, once again, and welcome to another episode of Inside IUE Sports. I'm your host, Caleb Gillock, and on today's episode, we're going to pick our favorite pictures from the 2014-15 basketball season, and joining us to do so is one of our photographers and women's basketball players, Tia King. Tia, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's start out a little bit about talking how you got into photography. How exactly did you start off in photography?
It started in high school because freshman year, you're not allowed to choose that many electives, and I had seen a lot of girls taking pictures for yearbook during our basketball games, and so when I made my schedule for sophomore year, they said we really don't have photography for sophomores because you have to be a junior, and so they said you could enter journalism, and so that's where I got into journalism, and he taught us how not only to take pictures, but the rule of thirds and different ways and different angles to take it, and just different things in the journalism business and how to write and how to interview and how to quote and how to make sure it's not plagiarized and stuff. So I learned more than taking pictures, which was helpful. Right. Instead of going right into taking photography, I got to know exactly what I wanted to do.
Now, what do you enjoy about photography?
Making memories for the people that's in the pictures and helping them remember. And if my picture brings back a good memory, that's all that matters to me. Right.
What were some of the interesting events that you've been able to take photos at?
I was able to take pictures at Lucas Oil Stadium 2 times. First time was junior year for newspaper and yearbook, and then the second time at Lucas Oil, I was able to take it for our boys 6A state championship. Mm-hmm. And I was able to be on the turf and on the field with the other photographers and had a whole access pass to go under and go in the locker rooms, and I thought that was pretty cool. That was the best thing I could do.
Was it for football both years, or what was the first year for?
Yes, it was for football.
All right, well, let's break into some of these pictures that we have that you've taken this season. First off, we're going to start off in like a bracket. We're going to do this bracket style. So round one, it's going to be facial expressions. We have Parker Salinas versus Houston Clark. Which one of those is your favorite?
I have to go with Parker just because he's in his stance, and I know Coach Hester is big on them talking on the floor, and he was screaming to the top of his lungs. So I'm going to have to go with Parker.
What do you remember about this photo of Parker?
What I remember was that it was a close game with IU Kokomo, and everybody on the bench was hype and just standing up and yelling, making sure that the floor was still having energy, and he never let the energy go down, not once in this picture, I think.
All right, well, let's go on to round two. The first picture is going to be of Jason Ray. What do you remember about that picture of Jason?
I never really got to get pictures of them at the free throw line, and instead of taking pictures of people shooting the free throws, I decided to get the people that's trying to rebound, and he just so happened to be in the perfect position for me to take the shot, and it worked out, even though his tongue is out. I think it makes it better. He's focused.
And how about the picture of Don Williams?
I don't actually remember what game this was, but I had to make sure I had a picture of him because he always bugs me to take a picture. And he was in the right stance, and his form was really nice, so I decided to take one of him.
Well, which one of these two photos is your favorite?
I'll have to go with Jason's just because it's other people in the picture. And I don't know, it's not just him, and you can see him actually working to get the ball, and his eyes is focused on the rim.
All right, well, let's move on to the third round. It's going up for a layup. Well, the first picture is of Brad Hunt. What do you remember about this picture of Brad?
I thought I was going to dunk it, so I was ready because I always miss dunks, and I was just excited that I got something, but he didn't dunk. But even though he didn't, he still showed the full body and how high he got up just because of his defenders looking all the way up, and he looked so short compared to Brad going up for the layup.
And how about the picture of Tyler?
I can never get Tyler in the corner because he always stays in the right corner, and it's the big basket that just blocks it. So I was like, I have to get a picture of him. So when he attacked the basket, I knew that was the time to get it because he's so quick and you don't know if he's going to pump fake or shoot it. So him getting to the bucket is nice to see because he always shoots.
All right, well, with that in mind, which one of those two is your favorite?
Going to have to go with Brad's just because the extendedness of him and going up for the layup, and it looks like his hand is on the other player for an extra little lift.
All right, brings us to round four. That's going to be the matchup of point guards. The first picture is of Jacoby Claypool. What do you remember about that picture of Jacoby?
I'm trying to figure out what game it was, but I just remember Jacoby always attacks the basket, and so that's his goal. If his coach says to get to the bucket, he will find a way, or he'll find somebody to get there for him. And I don't know, he's just a strong point guard. For him to be that size, he can sure work his athleticism to get to the bucket and score. And then Nick's, I forget this game too, but he always brings the ball up if it's not Jacoby. Like I said before, Jacoby will find somebody to get to the bucket if he can't, and that's Nick that does it. And Nick is a great point guard and a leader, and so I wanted to get that picture too.
So with that in mind, which one's your favorite of those two?
I'll have to go with Nick because he's leading and pointing to where everybody should go like a point guard should.
All right, so that's going to bring us into the semifinals. The first round of the semifinals is going to be Parker Salinas and Jason Ray. Which one of those would have to be your favorite?
Still going to have to go with Parker.
All right. And why is that your favorite over Jason?
Because he's in his defensive stance, and I don't know, like he just looks so focused on stopping the ball and getting a stop and getting it to his teammates.
Mm-hmm. And the second round of the semifinals is going to be Brad Hunt against Nick Bullenbacher. Which one of those is your favorite?
I have to go with Brad, just because it's an action shot and he's in the air, and it's really hard to get a shot like that.
All right. So that'll bring us to the championship round of the men's photos. It's Parker Salinas and Brad Hunt. Which one's your favorite and why?
Parker.
Parker?
Parker wins.
Why is that one your favorite over Brad Hunt?
I don't know. It's just because if he was at that game, he was really screaming, and so he deserves it.
All right. Well, that concludes our tournament of the men's basketball photos. When we come back, we'll take a look at the women's basketball photos right here on Inside IUE Sports.
This is where a busy mom can work toward a bachelor's degree from a top national university during softball practice. It's where a service member can continue his college studies from anywhere in the world, and where you'll benefit from one of the country's most effectively delivered online programs.
Woohoo!
So, if you've ever wondered if a college education is really worth it, this is where you'll see that it is. This is Indiana University East Online.
And welcome back to more Inside IUE Sports. We're picking our favorite photos of the 2014-15 men's and women's basketball season. The winning picture of the men's tournament was Parker Salinas, and now it's going to be the time to talk about the women's favorite photos. And just a reminder, we're doing this in bracket style, so let's start with the women's photos. Tia, obviously you weren't able to take these photos by yourself because you were playing. Well, let's start with the first round. That's going to be a defensive picture. The first one's going to be Daisha Boyd. What do you know about that picture?
We were playing Wilberforce, and it was our first home game. And we had an advantage over them because they only had 6 players, and so we took that to advantage. And I just remember us just trying to push the ball. We didn't have anything to lose, so why not just push it at them and use our bench and everybody else to push us on. And Daisha, I'm pretty sure she got a steal from the girl's face because she just looks like she's kind of upset. So I'm guessing Deja went and scored and stole it from her.
All right, her picture is taking on one of Kinsey Seiler. Tell us about the picture of Kinsey.
Kinsey's was against Rio, and that was our game where we didn't realize how big they were, body post. So he was like, Kinsey, you got to just go to work. You and Kerrigan, it's on you. It's on you guys to get down in the post. And she worked her butt off down there, and the way she creates a shot is remarkable. And I just remember her score. She had a really good game that day. Just getting to the bucket, finishing, creating a shot.
So which of those two pictures is your favorite and why?
Kinsey's, just because I knew how hard she was working that day in that game, just so we can get buckets, so we can score and put points on the board. And I know that girl was tough to play against and tough to guard, and I give it to her for doing that because I couldn't.
All right, well, that brings us to round 2. That's going in for a layup. The first picture is of Mackenzie Bowles. Tell us about that picture.
From the uniform, it looks like it was the breast cancer game. And Coach told us don't change anything differently from playing IU Kokomo than we did the first time because we did win. And so she was saying get to the bucket and attack, and that's what Bowles was doing. And it doesn't even look like a layup. It looks like a dunk, which is really cool.
Right.
So I like that one a lot.
And how about the picture of Mackenzie Campbell?
Mackenzie is known for getting to the bucket. She'll do whatever it takes to get there. I can't tell what game it was, but I mean, she's doing what Coach tells her to do and finishing what she needs to do.
So which of those two is your favorite and why?
I like Bowles's because it looks like she's dunking, and it looks like she got so high up. And I don't know, I wish I could show her this picture because she's really high up in the air.
It was a really good picture.
And then, like, the ball's still in her hand, so it's like maybe she still is going to try and dunk. Like, you never know.
Right.
You can believe anything if you add a caption to it.
All right, the third round, fighting for a loose ball. Brooke Packer, tell us about that picture.
Brooks was against IU Kokomo, and they are very physical. And so her getting on the floor and getting the ball, Coach is really happy about because she always gets on us about hustling and beating the player, and it won't kill you if you get on the floor and skid your knees a little bit.
Right. So
I know that they were pressing us in the first half, and so in order for her to get the ball and meet it, she had to dive on the floor for it.
All right.
And then Kristen's, that was against Rio, and they're very physical and big too. And her little self getting in there to get that ball, I knew it hurt because I know she fell, but at least she got the ball, and that's all that matters is her hustling too.
Which one's your favorite?
Kristen's.
All right. And why is that?
Because she's so tiny in a group full of bigger girls than she is, and for her to hustle and not be scared of them was really good.
All right, the fourth round, fighting for a rebound. Kerrigan Niehoff is the first picture going up against Bailey Dryman. Tell us about the picture of Kerrigan first.
This picture of Kerrigan, she always crashes the boards, and that's her thing. Her and Bailey are the main ones getting rebounds, and we always say just, be strong with it once you pull it down, and that's what she's doing, so make sure that we get the ball or push it up the floor or get it back up.
All right, and how about the picture of Bailey?
Looks like she's blocking a shot, which is rare because she's short too. But every time a rebound or a shot goes up, she yells boards, and she may not grab it, but she'll tip it off to somebody that will get it for us. And I wish I can just get up as high as she does. So I'm gonna have to go with Bailey.
All right. And why is that?
Because what is that? Because she works her butt off. Like, she's short, but size doesn't matter. She will push the biggest person out to get a rebound or tip it to the nearest player.
All right. Well, that brings us to the semifinals. The first semifinals between Kenzie Seiler and Mackenzie Bowles. Which one's your favorite there?
Mackenzie Bowles, because she's dunking.
All right. And then how about in semifinal number 2, Kristen Miller and Bailey Dryman?
Kristen, because she's hustling to get the ball, and she's not afraid to make a mistake here. Even if it's a jump ball, travel, she still hustles to go get it.
All right, and that brings us to the championship round of the photos. It's going to be Mackenzie Bowles against Kristen Miller. So which one's your favorite?
Kristen. Even though Bowles was dunking, and that's really tight.
All right, so your men's bracket champion of the photos is Parker Salinas, and the women's champion right there, Kristen Miller, as you see her on your screen. As you might have noticed, there weren't any pictures of Tia King. That's because we created a special all-Tia bracket with 4 of our favorite photos here at the IU East Athletic Department. So Tia, can you go ahead and take a look at those photos and tell us a little bit about each one of those?
The one of me going up, it looks like with the right. I don't remember what game it was. I hope I made it because that form does not look good right there. But I guess I looked focused with the eyes on the rim and squared up. And then the next one is a free throw. In the beginning of the season, I really wasn't confident in my free throws, but I can tell by my hair that I can tell by my hair that I was focused more, and then my rhythm with the ball. So I definitely was shooting a free throw there. And then the bottom two, one was against Wilberforce. And, of course, like I said before, we was just attacking the basket like Coach said. We didn't have anything to lose. So I just took it in, and she tried to get a charge. I remember that, but they called a foul because her back is turned, and you really can't call charges like that. And they used that picture for the KIC Conference Player of the Week, and so I like that one a lot. That's how I remember that one. And the next one, I'm sure I was running baseline just because the crowd is in the background, and that was against Wilberforce too. And I was just focused on if they give me a one more pass, if I want to drive or if I want to pass it again. But it looks like I was going to drive just because of my feet. One leg is up, and it looks like I was jabbing or getting ready to shoot.
All right, so with all of that in mind, take these 4 photos and narrow it down to your favorite picture and tell us why.
The one with the girl back turned against me because I was taking it in. And she couldn't stop me. And so to get that action shot and then my teammates behind me ready to get a rebound if I was to miss it, I like that a lot.
All right, well, thanks for joining me today. Once again, the champion of the men's photos that Tia picked was Parker Salinas, and the champion of the women's photos was Kristen Miller. And Tia, once again, thank you for joining me. We'll be right back with more Inside IUE Sports.
Dylan Newman had a terrible dislocated shoulder after a bad dirt bike accident. The long-term solution, surgery and intense rehab.
I trusted Reed Orthopedics because they had already fixed my ankle. And within 4 months of my surgery, Dr. Miller and my Reed therapist, April, helped me to regain my motion and most of my strength. Thanks to Reed Ortho, I can get back to what I love. It's all about trust. Right, Dr. Miller?
Right here at Reed.
Right here in Richmond.
And welcome back to more Inside IUE Sports. I'm your host, Caleb Gillock, and it's time to talk about men's golf. Joining me to do so is senior golfer Drew Houck. Drew, thanks for joining me.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's start off by talking a little bit about yourself. You're an academic all-conference and National Scholar Athlete honoree. Tell us a little bit about your golf career and your academic career.
Okay. So I came to IU East, and this is my 4th year here. I'm a senior. Obviously, just excited about the opportunity to participate and compete. I'm a fair to average golfer, I'll be honest, and so this was just an opportunity for me to continue to participate and continue to be involved with something outside of sport or outside of school. And so this has been wonderful for me for these 4 years, and definitely have grown and developed as a golfer, but as a student as well. Looking to graduate this spring. Right. Excited about that, and so for me, I can't thank a lot of people enough for the opportunity to be here and participate in golf as well as pursue my academics, and so from there, I'm just looking forward to graduating, looking forward to getting to the next chapter of my life. So.
On the academic side of things, how did it go about becoming an all-conference honoree?
I don't actually know the stipulations. I just, at the end of my each year, I'm told whether or not I qualify, whether or not I meet the requirements. So I think there's a certain GPA you have to have, and I think that you have to take so many credit hours. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure exactly what it is, but just trying to make sure I'm on top of things, managing the time wisely, and getting the grades that are necessary to be at the top of things in that respect.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about this season. How do you expect the team to be this season?
I'm looking forward to it. I think that we've. Let's see, 2 years ago we were pretty stout, and then last year I think we had a chance, and we've had some issues. We've always had a coaching change, and that's made a little bit of a difference because the recruiting has been a little bit down, and it's not the fault of any one person, but we've just had it's hard to recruit when you don't have a coach, and so that was a little bit of an issue last year. So the numbers have been a little bit suspect, and I think we're going to have 5 solid guys this year for the first time in about a year and a half, and hopefully that'll make a difference. We got a new player in this semester in Sam Roten, and looking forward to seeing how he can help us out. But like I said, I think just having 5 solid guys is honestly, sounds strange, but that's really a big plus for us this year.
And how's having 5 solid guys going to help the team this year?
Well, obviously 5 guys is the number that it takes to fill the roster, so you can play with 4, but 5 is the designated amount. we've had 5 for the most part, but it's just been so inconsistent with who can go and who can participate, and the level of commitment has been suspect at times. So for us to have 5 guys this semester that are willing to be there and be dedicated to the success of the team, I think it's going to be huge. And I think we've got 5 guys that have the potential to shoot good scores. So hopefully this season, or this spring season right here, is going to be a good one for us.
All right, well, let's talk about some of the individual players who will compete this year. Let's start off with one of your fellow seniors from Monroe Central High School, Cameron Cox. Tell us a bit about him.
Cameron he's an extremely bright young man. He's probably the scholar of the team, and he's also a good golfer. He's a smaller guy in stature. I don't know how tall he is, but he has a really smooth swing. He gets the ball from A to B really well, and he doesn't overswing at it in any way, shape, or form. He's really smooth and really consistent with his golf swing. So.
And how about the junior that last went to Ball State University, Franklin Christ?
Franklin's a good guy too. He's my roommate, so I can't say anything bad about him. But he's got a lot of good qualities in terms of golf. He can hit the ball a long way, for starters. He played at Ball State for a year, so that he's got Division I talent. He's been in with the best of them, and so obviously he's proven, and his scores have reflected that in his prior tournaments. Just the big thing for Franklin, I think, is just staying consistent, because he has the ability to go low. If he can continue to keep it there and not have a hole or two where it's going completely the other direction. That was really his biggest hindrance last year. I mean, in conference he was playing well and had a couple holes that kept him from shooting really, really good scores. So hopefully he can improve on that this year.
And how about a sophomore from Randolph Southern High School, Ian Goff?
Ian's another guy that can hit the ball a mile. He can really crush it, and so when he's on, it's tough to beat him, because he can put the ball in places that other people can't reach, and I think that's probably his biggest strength. He's got to be again, confident in his short game. He's not poor in his short game, but his strength is his longer off the tee and those types of shots. So looking forward to what he can do as well, obviously, along with everybody else. But I think he has the potential to go really low if he can just be on in every aspect of the game.
And how about another one from Randolph Southern High School, one of your fellow seniors, Levi Goff?
Levi is kind of along the same lines as Cam in the fact that, or in the sense that he's pretty consistent with what he does. He likes to hit fairways. He does that well. I wish I could do it as well as he does. And he's got a really good short game. So it's kind of contradictory from what his brother does really well, in that he's not so much, or his strength isn't so much off the tee as it is around the greens, but he gets it to work for him. And he shot some pretty good scores in the fall. I think he had a 74 at Liberty, which is where we'll be playing conference this year. So we're looking for those types of scores out of him, and if he can produce those, then I think we're going to have a really good chance this season.
You also earlier mentioned the new player on the roster from Nashville State. It's a freshman, Sam Roten. What about Sam?
I don't know a whole lot about him, because obviously this is his first semester, so got to see him swing it a little bit when we're hitting some shag balls and practicing indoors, but it's hard to tell what his golf game actually looks like. I believe him, and I believe Coach when they say that he's got the potential to be a good player as well, but honestly, I can't give you a whole lot of specifics on his game because I haven't seen him play yet.
And that brings us down to one player left on the roster, and that's you. What do you expect out of yourself this season?
That's a good question, because I think that obviously the initial thought is that you want to win. You play the game to win the game. So I want to be as competitive as I can. But obviously, I know with where my scores have been in the past, that hasn't been quite as realistic as I would have liked it to have been. So I'm looking to try to shoot somewhere in the 70s, try to give my team a realistic shot at winning the conference. I think if I can do that, then I'll be quite pleased with the season.
All right, you're getting ready to go to Georgia for a tournament hosted by Point University. What do you expect to see there?
Warm weather. Yeah, I know. I think it's going to be interesting. I think there's I'm not sure about this. Don't quote me on it, but I think there's a different type of grass that we're going to be playing on, so that'll be interesting. A lot of the courses in Kentucky that we play on in the conference have Bermuda grass. A little different feel. Not sure if there's Bermuda grass down there in Georgia, but I would guess that's probably what they're playing on. So that'll be interesting to get a feel for Bermuda right away. And just get out and play. Because obviously living in the north here with this type of weather, it's been a while since we've been really able to get out and get in the full swing of things. So, this is going to be an official tournament, but it's also going to be something where we can go out and get loose and just get a feel for the game again.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me, Drew, and be sure to go online to IUERedwolves.com for more information about the men's golf team. We'll be right back with more Inside IUE Sports.